English learners. Welcome back to Mr. Daily English Podcast, your warm and friendly place to learn real, natural English through everyday conversations. I'm Amelia.
And I'm Michael. So wonderful to be here with you again today, friends. Amelia, how are you feeling today?
I am feeling absolutely incredible today, Michael. And I think today's topic is going to genuinely surprise a lot of people because most people assume that improving their English requires hours and hours of study every single day.
And today, we are going to completely destroy that assumption, because today we are talking about something that sounds almost too simple to be true, but is backed by real science, real results, and real stories from real English learners who have used it.
We are talking about the power of 5 minutes, just 5 minutes a day, done correctly and consistently to make your English sound dramatically more natural and native-like.
Not 5 hours, not 50 minutes, 5 minutes. And by the end of today's episode, you will understand exactly why this works, exactly what those 5 minutes should contain, and exactly how to build this habit so powerfully that you never skip it again.
This is the episode we wish existed when we were starting our English journeys. So stay with us until the very end, because what we have for you today is genuinely life-changing.
Let's go. Amelia, let us start with the science, because I think when people understand why 5 minutes works, they stop seeing it as too small and start seeing it as exactly right.
Perfect starting point. Let us talk about something called spaced repetition. It is one of the most well-researched and well-proven methods for learning and retaining new information, and it is the foundation of why short daily practice beats long occasional study every single time.
Here's how it works. When you learn something new, your brain creates a neural connection, a pathway, but that pathway starts to fade almost immediately if you do not use it again. This is called the forgetting curve.
And research shows, discovered originally by psychologist Hermann Ebbinghaus, that without any review, you forget approximately 50% of new information within 1 hour, 70% within 24 hours, and almost 90% within a week.
So if you study English for 2 hours on Saturday and then not again until next Saturday, you have forgotten almost everything by the time you open your notebook again.
But here's the extraordinary thing about spaced repetition. Every time you revisit something, even very briefly, you reset the forgetting curve. You push it back, and each time you revisit, the connection in your brain gets a little stronger, a little more permanent, a little more automatic.
Which means 5 minutes of English practice today, 5 minutes tomorrow, 5 minutes the day after is infinitely more effective than 2 hours once a week, because you are constantly refreshing and strengthening those neural connections before they have time to fade.
And there's something else, something called the habit loop. When you do something small and consistent every day, at the same time and in the same way, your brain begins to automate it. It stops requiring willpower and decision-making. It just happens, like brushing your teeth.
And once your English practice becomes automatic, once it requires no motivation or willpower to start, the battle is essentially over. You will practice every day, without fail, and the cumulative effect, day after day after day, will be extraordinary.
5 minutes times 365 days is over 30 hours of focused English practice in a year. 30 hours of the right kind of practice. That changes everything.
30 hours from 5 minutes.
Every single day. Now, Michael, before we give everyone the 5-minute plan, let's talk honestly about why most English practice does not produce the results people expect. Because understanding what doesn't work makes it much clearer why what we're going to suggest today does work.
The first reason most English practice doesn't work, it's passive, not active. People watch English videos, listen to English podcasts, read English articles, and assume that because they are consuming English, they are improving their English.
But consuming English and producing English are completely different activities. You can understand English perfectly and still be unable to produce a single natural sentence when you need to, because understanding and producing use different parts of your brain, and only one of them is strengthened by passive consumption.
The second reason, it's unfocused. People open their English app, scroll through some vocabulary, watch a video, do a few exercises, close the app, and feel like they practiced. But without a clear, specific focus, the brain doesn't know what to prioritize, and nothing goes deep enough to stick.
The third reason, it lacks consistency. People study intensively for 3 days when they feel motivated. Then life gets busy, they skip a day, then 2 days, then a week. And when they come back, they've lost most of what they gained, and they have to start again.
And the fourth reason, it doesn't mimic real language use. Most English study feels nothing like actually speaking English in a real situation. So even when people do learn something, they can't transfer it to real situations because they've never practiced in conditions that feel like real situations.
So the perfect English practice, the kind that actually produces real, lasting results, needs to be active, focused, consistent, and as close to real language use as possible.
And here's the beautiful thing. All 4 of those qualities can be achieved in 5 focused minutes a day.
Just 5 minutes, done right. Okay, this is the heart of today's episode, the complete 5-minute daily English practice plan, broken down minute by minute, so you know exactly what to do every single morning.
And we want to be really clear about something before we start. These 5 minutes are not casual minutes. They are not minutes spent half listening to English while you do something else. They are 5 fully focused, completely intentional minutes. Eyes open, brain engaged, all attention on English.
5 focused minutes. Let's begin.
Minute 1. Say something out loud immediately.
The very first thing you do before you check your phone, before you make coffee, before you do anything, is open your mouth and say something in English out loud.
It can be anything. Describe how you feel right now. Say, I woke up feeling tired today, but I'm ready to practice. Or, it's a beautiful morning and I'm grateful for another day. Or, I have a really busy day ahead and I'm going to give it everything I have.
It doesn't need to be perfect. It doesn't need to be impressive. It just needs to be spoken, out loud, in English, for 60 seconds.
Because this 1 minute of speaking activates your English-speaking brain immediately. It warms up the neural pathways you're going to be using all day, and it sets a powerful intention. Today, I'm practicing English. Today, I'm growing.
Think of it as the spark that starts the engine. Every engine needs a spark, and for your English, this 60-second morning declaration is exactly that.
Minute 2. Shadow 1 sentence perfectly.
For minute 2, you're going to take 1 sentence from a native English speaker and you're going to shadow it, which means listen and repeat over and over until you sound exactly like the speaker.
Just 1 sentence, not a paragraph, not a conversation, 1 beautiful, natural sentence. And you're going to repeat it 10, 15, 20 times in 60 seconds, focusing on the exact pronunciation, the exact rhythm, the exact natural flow.
Use our podcast for this. Take any sentence from today's episode, any sentence that sounds natural and beautiful to you, and shadow it until it lives in your mouth, not just in your head.
Because shadowing trains something that almost no other practice method trains. It trains the physical production of English, the way your lips and tongue and breath work together to create natural English sounds and rhythms.
And when you do this every single day, 1 perfect sentence at a time, within weeks, your English starts to have a rhythm and a flow that's completely new, a rhythm that feels native, natural, effortless.
1 sentence, 60 seconds, repeated until perfect.
Minute 3. Use 1 new phrase in a sentence about your own life.
So if the phrase is, I'm completely obsessed with, your sentence might be, I'm completely obsessed with Mr. Daily English podcast and I listen every morning while I make coffee. Or, I'm completely obsessed with cooking and I try a new recipe every weekend.
The reason this is so powerful is that connecting new language to your own personal experience makes it stick in a completely different way. Your brain has an emotional and personal attachment to your own life. When new language is connected to that, it goes much deeper and stays much longer.
One phrase, your own sentence, 60 seconds.
Minute 4. Write 3 lines.
For minute 4, you're going to write, not a lot, just 3 lines, about anything that's real and true for you right now. What you're feeling, what you're planning, what happened yesterday, what you're grateful
For anything at all. 3 lines in 60 seconds, written in English, without stopping to check the dictionary, without worrying about perfect grammar, just write. Let the English flow out of you and onto the page.
Because writing and speaking are two sides of the same coin. When you write English regularly, even just 3 lines a day, you train your brain to construct English sentences, to choose words, to organize thoughts in English. And that construction process, done daily, gradually becomes faster, more natural, more automatic.
And over time, those 3 daily lines become a record of your growth. And on the days when you feel like you are not improving, you open that record and you see. You see where you were 3 months ago, and you see where you are now. And the difference is always, always greater than you imagined.
Minute 5. End with confidence.
And for the final minute, you are going to do something that might feel a little unusual, but that is incredibly powerful.
You are going to look up or ahead and say out loud in English one sentence about what you are going to do today and one sentence about who you are as an English learner.
Something like, today I am going to have 3 conversations in English, and I am going to bring everything I practiced this morning. I am someone who is becoming more natural in English every single day, and nothing is going to stop that.
This is not positive thinking for its own sake. This is programming. You are telling your brain, this is my identity. I am an English learner who practices every day. I am someone who is becoming natural. And your brain, once it accepts an identity, will make decisions and take actions that are consistent with that identity.
You are not pretending to be someone you are not. You are becoming who you are choosing to become. And that final 60-second declaration, repeated every morning, is one of the most powerful tools for English improvement that most people never use.
5 minutes, 5 practices, every single day, without fail.
Now, Michael, let us have a real, honest conversation about this 5-minute plan. Because I know there are people listening right now who are thinking, 5 minutes sounds too easy, too small. Surely I need to do more than 5 minutes.
And I love that question because it is the right question to ask. And the answer is, yes, eventually you will probably want to do more than 5 minutes, and you should. But here's what most people do not understand about building a new habit.
Tell me.
The biggest enemy of consistency is not laziness, it's overwhelm. When a habit feels too big, too demanding, too much, your brain resists it, especially on the days when you're tired, when you're busy, when motivation is low. Those are the days when a 2-hour practice session simply doesn't happen.
But 5 minutes always happens, because 5 minutes is never too much. No matter how tired you are, no matter how busy the day ahead looks, no matter how low your motivation is, you can always find 5 minutes.
And here's the extraordinary thing that happens once you build that 5-minute habit consistently. Most days, you won't stop at 5 minutes, because starting is the hardest part. And once you've started, once the engine is running, most days you will naturally continue for 10 minutes, 20 minutes, sometimes more.
The 5 minutes is the guarantee you always practice, even on the worst days, even on the hardest days, even on the days when everything inside you says, not today.
On those days, 5 minutes, just 5 minutes, because 5 minutes is always enough to keep the connection alive, to keep the habit warm, to keep moving forward.
And momentum, once you have it, is the most powerful force in any language learning journey. Momentum is what separates the people who become fluent from the people who are still stuck in the same place 5 years from now.
5 minutes a day gives you momentum every single day, without exception.
Michael, let us talk about what actually happens when someone commits to this 5-minute plan consistently for 30 days, because I think painting that picture gives people something real to aim for.
Absolutely. Let's be very specific about this, because I think vague promises like "your English will get better" are not helpful. Let's talk about the specific changes people actually experience.
After 30 days of the 5-minute plan, here's what research and experience both consistently show.
First, your speaking feels more automatic. The hesitation, that frustrating gap between what you want to say and what actually comes out, starts to shrink. Not disappear completely, but shrink noticeably, because you've been warming up your speaking brain every single morning.
Second, your rhythm improves dramatically. That flat, robotic quality that many learners have, where every word sounds equally stressed, starts to be replaced by a more natural English music, because you've been shadowing native speaker sentences every morning, and that rhythm has been slowly installing itself into your speech.
Third, you start noticing English everywhere. Your brain, now primed every morning to be in English mode, starts picking up natural phrases and expressions from everything around you, from films, from conversations, from podcasts. Things you would have missed before, you now catch and collect and use.
Fourth, your confidence increases significantly because confidence in speaking is built through repetition, through doing the thing enough times that it starts to feel familiar. And 30 days of daily speaking practice, even just 5 minutes, gives you 30 more speaking experiences than you would have had otherwise.
And fifth, the habit becomes part of your identity. After 30 days, you're no longer a person who is trying to improve their English. You're a person who improves their English every single day. And that person, that consistent daily practicing person, always reaches fluency eventually, without exception.
Always, without exception. Michael, let's get really personal now, because I want to share something with our listeners that I think will make this whole concept feel very real. Can I tell you about a period in my own English journey?
Please, I think this is exactly what people need to hear.
There was a time, about 2 years into my English learning, when I was completely overwhelmed. I was studying for hours, reading textbooks, doing exercises, writing essays, and I was exhausted, and I wasn't seeing the results I expected, and I genuinely considered stopping.
What happened?
I stopped the big study sessions. I couldn't sustain them anymore, but I made one small commitment. Every morning, before anything else, I would spend 5 minutes just speaking English out loud, about my day, about how I felt, about what I was thinking. No structure, no textbook, just speaking.
Just speaking.
Just speaking. And something extraordinary happened within about 3 weeks. My speaking, which had always felt forced and effortful, started to feel a little more natural, a little more like something that just happened, rather than something I had to work hard to produce.
Because you were using it every day, your brain was building the habit of English speech.
Exactly. And that small change, 5 minutes of morning speaking, had more impact on my spoken English than all the hours of textbook study combined, because it was consistent, because it was active, because it was real.
I had a similar experience, actually. Mine was with shadowing. I found one podcast I loved, one I genuinely enjoyed listening to, and every morning I would shadow one sentence from the previous episode, just one, perfectly, over and over, until I sounded exactly like the speaker.
And what happened?
Within a month, people started commenting that my English sounded different, more natural, more confident. One person actually asked me if I had lived in an English-speaking country because my rhythm had changed so much, and all I had done was shadow one sentence every morning for 30 days.
One sentence, 30 days.
One sentence, 30 days. That's the power of small, consistent practice done correctly. Amelia, let's finish with something really practical, because knowing the plan is one thing, but sticking to it day after day, especially on the hard days, requires strategy. So let's give everyone the tools to make these 5 minutes genuinely unbreakable.
Strategy number 1. Attach it to something you already do. The most powerful habits are the ones that are attached to existing habits. So attach your 5-minute English practice to something you do every morning without fail.
Making coffee, brushing your teeth, having breakfast, whatever your consistent morning ritual is, attach your English practice immediately before or after it. And within weeks, the two habits will become fused. You won't do one without doing the other.
Strategy number 2. Make it as easy as possible to start. The harder it is to start a habit, the less likely you are to do it. So make the first step of your 5 minutes completely effortless.
Keep your notebook on your pillow. Keep this podcast on your phone ready to play. Have your shadowing sentence written on a sticky note on your mirror. Remove every possible barrier between waking up and starting, because friction is the enemy of habit, and zero friction means zero excuses.
Strategy number 3. Track it visually. Get a simple calendar, put it somewhere you'll see it every day, and every day you complete your 5 minutes, put a mark on that day. A tick, a star, a simple cross, anything.
Because after a few days, you'll have a chain, a beautiful visual chain of consecutive days, and the chain itself becomes motivating. You won't want to break it. You'll practice on days you don't feel like it simply to protect the chain.
This technique is sometimes called the don't break the chain method, and it's one of the most effective habit-building tools that exists, for any habit, but especially for daily English practice.
Strategy number 4. Celebrate
Every single day, not once a week, not once a month, every single day. After your 5 minutes, acknowledge it. Say out loud, I did it. I practiced English today. I am someone who practices every single day. And feel good about it, genuinely, because the brain learns through reward. And when you consistently reward your English practice with positive feelings, your brain begins to associate English practice with something enjoyable. And something enjoyable you naturally want to do again.
5 minutes, every day, attached to existing habits, made as easy as possible, tracked visually, celebrated consistently. That is an unbreakable routine.
And an unbreakable routine, over time, produces unbreakable results.
Before we finish, let us collect the most powerful and most natural phrases from today's episode.
Forgetting curve, the natural decline in memory over time when information is not reviewed. Example, without daily practice, you fall victim to the forgetting curve and lose what you learned almost immediately.
Neural pathway, a connection in the brain between neurons that strengthens with repeated use. Example, every time you practice speaking English, you are strengthening the neural pathways that make fluency possible.
Spaced repetition, the scientific foundation of why 5 minutes a day beats 2 hours once a week. Example, spaced repetition is the scientific foundation of why 5 minutes a day beats 2 hours once a week.
habit loop, the cycle of cue, routine, and reward that makes a behavior automatic over time. Example, once your English practice becomes a habit loop, it happens automatically without needing motivation.
Momentum, the force that keeps something moving forward, getting stronger the longer it continues. Example, consistency builds momentum, and momentum is what separates the people who become fluent from the people who stay stuck.
Friction, resistance that makes something harder to start or continue. Example, remove every possible friction from your daily English practice. Make it as easy as possible to begin.
And that is everything for today's truly powerful episode of Mr. Daily English Podcast.
Today we covered the science of spaced repetition and why 5 minutes works, why most English practice fails, the complete 5-minute daily plan, minute by minute, what happens after 30 days, personal stories about small, consistent practice, and 4 strategies to make your 5 minutes completely unbreakable.
Now, before you go, we have one challenge for you. Just one. Start tomorrow morning. Not next week, not when things slow down. Tomorrow morning. Set your alarm 5 minutes earlier than usual and do the plan.
1 minute of speaking, 1 minute of shadowing one sentence until it sounds exactly right, 1 minute of using a new phrase, 1 minute of writing 3 lines about your real life, 1 minute of ending with a declaration of who you are becoming. 5 minutes, every day, without fail.
Because 5 minutes a day, done consistently, done correctly, done with full focus and full intention,
Will change your English more than you can possibly imagine right now.
start tomorrow morning. We'll be cheering you on. See you in the next episode.
5 minutes, that's all. See you next day.